Alright, Shalom Akim. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yehoshai, Ba'ashem Harakah Kwadash. Double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Sanitation to all the Akim, the Afwakim, and the Wafbanyim that are obedient to the order. And rise up, Kwam Yashala, to the house of David. Got a little video on UFOs, you know, one of my favorite subjects, and I'm going to entitle it UFOs stroke chariots coming to a town near you. It's just a little clip. The host of it is Nick Pope, former Ministry of Defense. He used to investigate so-called UFO sightings, UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenons, the last name they've been calling it. But without further ado, and these are professional people that had been terrorized by his experience of seeing a UFO, a chariot. You know, he was a war veteran, a former war hero, and he's out doing his job at the moment. Forest worker Robert Taylor, and he meets something, sees something he's never seen before. But without further ado, let's get into it. You know, UFO stroke chariots coming to a town near you.
Forestry worker Robert Taylor goes into the woods with his dog, looking for a suspected trespasser.
What is it, Bonnie?
But a short hike in, he discovers a strange spherical object.
God's name.
He's a war hero. He's a military veteran. He's highly trained, incredibly brave. He doesn't run from this thing. He wants to get a closer look. You can see for the first time what this thing is. And it's a...
Yeah, he goes up closer because he believes his experience in being a former war hero, a military veteran, he'll have no problems dealing with this, you know?
broadly circular shaped object with a kind of rim around it.
He describes this object as being a metallic sphere with protrusions underneath, like could be landing legs.
And he hears this strange noise that appears to be coming from inside this object. It's almost like banging noise.
Stay, Bonnie, stay!
After the object started making these noises, two smaller objects seemed to emerge somehow and came out of the object. They had on them these kind of spikes.
He likens them to like Second World War mines, something which he'd have been very familiar with during his wartime service.
These two small objects come hurtling towards him across the ground. And as the spikes hit the ground, there was this kind of popping sound.
He was seeing something beyond his frame of reference. He'd never dealt with anything like this.
Robert tried to run, but at that point, the two smaller objects basically attached themselves to his legs. The spikes were digging into his trousers. There's a kind of noxious odor that he smells, a really repugnant, acrid smell. He comes to believe that some noxious gas was released. Not only are these objects attached to his trousers, they're now dragging him back towards the main object. Most UFO sightings are just lights in the sky, but this is an interaction. He's being
He's being attacked. I got a scripture, because you're going to get people that say, nah, I don't believe that, you know, he's making it up, or maybe he's on some kind of drugs. He's a former war hero. But considering that I've seen chariots and I've seen little orbs, and I've also seen big undescribable chariots that even when you're aware of so-called UFOs and chariots, it still shook me, man. And It just came over the house and it just stood there, and it weren't no little orb, and it just flashed, blip, 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 and it just woof, and it weren't no small chariot, man. Similar to some brothers have dreams, and I've always been having dreams about chariots, and when I see them in the dream, they're always closer, and it's like they're getting closer and closer. But yeah, there's so many scriptures on chariots, so many scriptures on UFOs or chariots. We're going to get this one because this one suits exactly what's going on. Isaiah 66:4 says, and I will choose their delusions, and I will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. When I spoke, they did not hear, but they did evil before mine eyes, and chose that which I delighted not. So what I wanted was, I will choose their delusions, and I will bring their fears upon them. This guy, when you hear, he's a former military war hero, a veteran. What his experience, he says, is similar to what he experienced or what he saw when he was in the war. It's very interesting, you know. The Most High can bring all your fears upon you, and that's what he's going to do. We're in the year 2020. We're hearing about the plagues. We're hearing about the so-called coronavirus, and there's also other pestilence taking place, like chicken flu. I put bird flu, and I put that one of those videos on my channel. So the year 2020, you know, these prophecies are going full speed ahead. But this has got to be one of my favorite subjects, the chariots, you know. No doubt I'll probably be doing more videos on chariots.
Things are just lights in the sky, but this is an interaction. He's being attacked, and at that point, he passed out. Robert Taylor later calculated that he'd been unconscious for around 20 minutes. He could only assume that during that missing 20 minutes, he had been inside this object. When he came to, he tried to get to his feet, but he stumbled. I mean, he was clearly still weak and disorientated. He looked around. The object had gone. But as he examined the clearing, he did find some strange markings, two different types, some round holes and some more horizontal lines. Clearly something had been in that clearing.
This guy.
Robert Taylor first decided to try and call for help, and he went to use the radio in his vehicle, but he found that his voice wouldn't come out. He could hardly speak. Robert Taylor assumed that the reason that he was unable to speak at this point was that it was an after effect of the noxious substance, the gas, that had been released.
Robert Taylor's bizarre story is not easily dismissed.
Robert Taylor is one of those kind of great witnesses that you find absolutely just tells the truth as it happens. He's the kind of person that you would want on your jury service, not one prone to make up stories.
Police investigate Robert Taylor's sighting, treating his experience with the spiked objects as an assault. A forensic analysis of Robert Taylor's trousers finds tears in the fabric from bottom to top. A finding consistent with the spheres having taken hold of Robert from below. Robert Taylor fully recovers his voice within hours. A medical exam shows no physical abnormalities, but does identify abrasions on his hips, consistent with the tear marks in his trousers. The marks in the dirt are still visible when police investigate the clearing. Subsequent tests on soil samples provide no clear answer as to the cause. Accounts of the incident in the media draw hundreds of curiosity seekers, forcing police to cordon off the area, closing it off from public view.
Right, so there you have it, Akim. You know, all the overwhelming evidence. You know, you're still going to get doubters that are going to try and use deflection and say, there's no such things, those things don't exist. But this was a war veteran, you know, a former war veteran, a war hero, and he believed in his mind he can cope and he can deal with anything. But he suffered trauma. No doubt he suffered trauma. He wasn't even able to speak. So there was a physical interaction. He was being attacked, as Nick Pope said. He was being attacked. Right. So that's why I entitled this video, UFO stroke chariots coming to a town near you. You know. So let me get some scripts, man. There's a whole heap of scriptures on chariots, you know. Let me draw this one on in 2nd Esdras, similar to the experience of Esdras himself. 2nd Esdras, we're gonna go to 10. It says, "But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests." Yeah, man. Shout out to Elder Malcolm, you know, that script, the video he did on the chariots. So these were like sparks, you know, like lasers, similar to the experience of this former war hero, man. You know, they grabbed hold of his legs, man, and dragged him, he said, and then they started to gas him, put gas on him, and knocked him unconscious, man. You know, and his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. These things are tangible. These things are real. These things can't be messed with, man. Don't matter what kind of veteran experience you've had in war or whatever you've experienced, you can't mess with these chariots. And it goes on in 11. It says, "And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, a flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence." He says, "And fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of a immovable multitude nothing was to be perceived but only dust and a smell of smoke. And when I saw this, I was afraid." Yeah, Esdras himself was afraid, you know. Just like you see this guy here. Look at this, you know. He's traumatized, man. He's terrorized. Let's get another one. Esdras. Go back in Esdras to 9. Right. Let's go to 2. He said, "Then shall they understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Wherefore when there shall be..." Let me open the curtain. Alright, let's go. Start again. It says in 2 it says, "When thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Wherefore when there shall be seen earthquakes, uproars," right, we've seen earthquakes, you know, all over the world, man. Earthquake, uproars, yes. The people in the world, yeah, year 2020 prophecies are kicking off, man. Full speed ahead. Then shall well understand that the Most High speak of these things from the days there were before there, even from the beginning. For like as all that he made in the world hath a beginning and an end, the end is manifest. Year 2020, year of prophecy. You know, the corona, you know, all the plagues taking place. You've seen it uprising, yeah, and the chariots, right? So the prophecies are speaking. Let's get another precept. These prophecies are 100% speaking, irrefutable. We get Psalms 102, Psalms 104, 13. It says, where Alright, we go to 2. It says, who covereth thyself with the light as with the garment, he stretches out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. Yeah, they can cloak, they can appear to be like clouds. That's one of the previous ones I saw, you know, as well as in the dreams. I've been getting a lot of them back in the dreams. One of the dreams I had, I was on me and the Akim them. You know, it was like almost as if it was after camp, and we was all lifted up on a roof, just lifted on a high, you know, them 12-story buildings, that them higher state buildings, and like you know, them high buildings like 12 stories, 15-floor buildings, and we was on the top of that roof, and the chariot was just coming and just ministering and coming around us, and you know, almost like to say he was giving us food or something, you know. It's one of them kind of dreams, you know. But yes, man, it says, he layeth the beams of his chariots in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, he maketh his angels spirits, his ministers as flaming fire. That's right, man. Who laid the foundation of the earth, that he should not be removed forever. Thou coverest it with the deep, as with a garment the waters stood above the mountains. Yeah, let's get another precept. Because they can come and they can put fear, as we saw there. And that guy was terrified without a doubt. Let's go back to 2nd Esdras 15. Yeah, 5, it says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the wind, and sword and famine, death and destruction, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. And we're seeing that right now, man. China being locked down, like the whole city was like a ghost town, man. No one able to move for 14 days, a quarantine for 14 days, and they've already got these places set up. People have been quarantined, have been put in places where they can go, and they have to be kept, the eye have to be kept on them, you know, to prevent a spreading of this plague. Well, I suspect something very, very different taking place, man. It looks very suspect to me. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord. Right. That's all I wanted out of that one. Let's get back to the Isaiah 66. It says, because this is really the point. It says in 4, it says, and I also shall choose their delusions, and I will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. When I spoke, they did not hear. Yeah, Most I was bringing the fear upon him, that former war hero, you know, as if he was back in the war. But it was this time he was the chariots, you know, the unidentified aerial phenomenon. UAP was terrorizing him, you know, which was the chariots of the Most High. And I will choose their delusions and bring their fears upon them, because when I spoke, they didn't answer. And they did not hear, but they did evil before thine eyes. Yeah, all the wickedness you've been doing, you know, primarily to the so-called black people, primarily to the children of Yahshua. When I spoke, they did not hear, but they did evil before thine eyes, and choose that which I delighted not. Let's jump down to 15. Isaiah Same chapter 15, Isaiah 66. It says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, his rebukes with flames of fire. For by fire, by his sword, will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine flesh and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed, and the mouse shall be consumed together with the Lord. Right. So behold, back up to 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire. Right, we're seeing fires, you know, which are the chariots. They can appear as fire, they can appear as a beaming light, laser, you know, in condensed fire, like a fire in the whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and the rebukes with the flames of fire. Right, man. And that's what we're seeing, man. And that's what that guy experienced. Robert Taylor, the former war hero. We get the last. He was terrorized, man, as we can see there. And it chose him, that particular day, it chose him. Who knows what he was doing in the army back then, you know. Who knows what he was doing. But the Most High sees everything, and he brought that delusion and the fear upon his own head. Terror, and we know could be the end of this year. It could be the beginning of next year, but we know it's very close. The Most High's we're gonna start seeing more and more chariots, and he's gonna start to interact, you know. And that's exactly what was happening. There was an interaction. It wasn't just a sighting, a UFO sighting. Someone was being attacked. The former war hero was being attacked by the chariot. So this is going to be the last precept, Akim. Revelation, because Yahushua is very much present, you know, along with the angels, man. You know, he hasn't come showing any full force at the moment. He's just sitting at the right hand of the Most High for his enemies to be placed at his side, man, to be under his feet. Revelation 1:7 says, behold, he cometh with the clouds, and every eye shall see him. Alright, man. And they're going to be terrified just at the sight of him. Just like what our elder Malcolm has said, a lot, those who pierced him, they're probably just going to, their heart is just going to go up in their mouth, and they're just going to, you know, just going to drop dead, man. You know, just by a heart attack, a sudden heart attack will kill you, mate. You know. And behold, he cometh with the clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. That's right, and that's what we're going to be saying. All praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. We're in agreement when we see that day come, man. And there's going to be fear. You know, going to be fear all over their faces. You know, terror all over their faces. So yes, man, that's the end of the video. One of my favorite subjects is the chariots coming to a town near you. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yeshua for giving me the spirit to do this video. Kwam Yashua, rise up to the house of David. Wawaf Shah Dawada. Shalom to all the Yakim, and Shalak Ryan be upon the wicked. Agaye Gashata by Hashem Yeshua. I rebuke Satan for all that he's done, past, present, and future, and everything he's planning to do, may it fall upon his own head. I'm out. Shalom.